Slime Rancher's development has always fascinated me. I've played the game for the first time a few months after its final major update came out, and I liked the game a lot. In fact, I liked it so much that I still consider it to be my favorite game of all time. Not only because it's the game that introduced me to indie games, but also because it's just a really good game in general. After playing Slime Rancher so much, I wanted to see the game from other people's perspectives. I used to watch Let's Plays all the time as a kid, but a lot of them were recorded shortly after its first release on Steam, and I was truly shocked to see how much the game had changed. Slime Rancher has been in early access for so long, and I only got to play the fully finished product. I wanted to see how other versions looked like. I wanted to know the history of Slime Rancher's development. And yes, I've watched a lot of those old Slime Rancher Let's Plays, but I've never actually played any of these older versions until now, because I recently found a download link for one of the first versions of Slime Rancher released to the public. And if you want to play it for yourself, then the link is in the description and I recommend checking it out. After doing pretty much everything the game had to offer, I really wanted to make a video like this. So yeah, I am Fenko, and here I am, creating my most ambitious video yet, and it's about funny slime farming game, of all things. But believe it or not, this funny slime game truly means a lot to me, and I hope I can do it justice with this video. Just please keep in mind that this is my second time doing a fully scripted video like this, and I did not have enough motivation to even finish the first one, and it's my first time making a YouTube video in English ever. So I'm truly sorry about that, but you know, there's a first time for everything, and I'm not responsible for any ears that I caused to bleed because of some dumb mistakes I make or my Polish accent. But sorry if I sound kind of dead this entire video. It's just my first time doing something like this, so I hope you understand. So, now with that out of the way, let's take a look at everything I could find that came before Slime Rancher's first release on Steam. This is the first screenshot of Slime Rancher we ever got to see, as well as some beta icons that seem to resemble the three slime colors seen on the screenshot. We also got these screenshots taken a bit further in the development. We get to see a beta version of some kind of a largo, a beta version of the tar, and a green slime that I believe is a beta version of the rat slime. Also, I like how they used Medic from TF2 as a placeholder. Then we also got this GIF, for some reason, and these images of pink rock, rat and tabby slimes. After implementing the GIF feature to the game, we got to see gameplay of Slime Rancher for the first time, I think. We got a look at the unused rain event that has been removed very early on in the development, and didn't even make it to the first version of Slime Rancher released to the public, though it can still be re-enabled in the files. About a month later, we got the reveal trailer. There are a lot of interesting things here. First of all, we get to see the prototype versions of corrals, coops and gardens. There's one garden here that's very interesting. In just one garden there are 3 different trees, one of them being a prickle pear tree. That's because the prickle pear was originally rock slime's favorite food, which actually makes a lot of sense considering its spiky design. As you may have noticed, the ranch also looks completely different. This is a screenshot of the full prototype ranch, where the trailer was recorded. In other shots, we also see the player enter the prototype grotto and hang out with some slimes in a completely different area of the ranch. This area is called the pit. It only had 2 plots and it replaced the overgrowth in this version. We also get to see the player walk around a prototype version of the beach and the indigo quarry. This is the prototype version of the indigo quarry. If you look closely, some areas look almost the same as in the current version. I will come back to the prototype beach later. We also get some shots taken from the main menu island, which is pretty cool. Now, I could go deeper into this trailer and show you every single tree that has been removed later in the development, but I don't know if anyone wants to hear that. I think it's time to take a look at the first version of Slime Rancher released on Steam, 0.2.0. All of the footage shown is taken from 0.2.2, but I promise it hasn't changed much from 2.0. It's mostly just bug fixes. The first thing you'll probably notice is that the graphics look a bit worse than in the newer versions. They are very close to what we saw in the reveal trailer, but it's a lot more noticeable when you actually get to play the game. A lot of models also look very different from those used in the final version of the game. For example, every type of fruit or veggie has a simplified model. The slime key is literally just a regular key. The portals are just blue circles. Water turns into blue spheres when you shoot it. The scare slime is... What even is this thing? The 2D art is also different. All of the plots and their upgrades are just placeholder cubes. The backpack upgrades are very simplified versions of what we have now. The Slimepedia entry art for all the areas are instead just screenshots of them, and the house interior doesn't look nearly as comfy as it does now. Honestly, my favorite piece of art in Slime Rancher 0.2.0 are the NPCs. I mean, just look at them. Okay, let's talk about slimes. The only slimes present in this version are Pink, Rock, Tabby, Phosphor, Boom, Honey, Rad, Puddle, Gold, and Tar slimes. If you ignore little things like rock slime spikes multiplying when they eat or the annoying sound effects for Boom slime's explosions, most of them are pretty much the same. The slime that has changed the most is the Puddle slime. Not only do they look completely different, being just a recolored pink slime, but they also work differently. They are no longer shy, so you can have as many of them as you want in one pond, but you need to refill their pond from time to time because they actually drink water in this version. Tar slimes are also worth mentioning. In this version, they can take a lot more hits before they die, but if you manage to kill them with regular water, they explode, creating these weird blood particles. And finally, the rat slimes. Before 0.3.0, rat slimes were unobtainable. I think it's strange how Monomi Park just left their clothes displayed on the market and put rat slimes on the main menu island despite them not being able to spawn anywhere else on the map. However, they were fully done in the files, as well as their favorite food, Oka Oka. Actually, there was a lot of stuff in the files that hasn't been used in the game yet. The prototype Indigo Quarry was there, so modders often made Indigo Quarry areas in custom maps and put rat slimes there. There were also some more food times hidden in the files. The prickle pear that was listed as Mosaic Slime's favorite food, and the silver parsnip, Meteor Slime's favorite food. As we all know, silver parsnip is now Mosaic Slime's favorite food, and the Meteor Slime is not in the game, but I'll come back to it later. Hunter Slimes were also present in Slime Rancher's files, but they were literally just tabby slimes that could turn invisible and had a different favorite food. Though it was possible to create a large tabby slime by combining a regular tabby slime with a hunter slime, so that's fun. Okay, time to talk about the Gordos. There are 3 Gordos in this version. Pink, Tabby, and Phosphor. They all have different models and a little idle animation. The Pink Gordo requires 50 food instead of 30 and gives you a slime key. The Tabby Gordo gives you a teleporter, but it's even worse than it is now. It's a one-way teleporter that teleports you back home. The Phosphor Gordo is the same as it is now. Needs 50 food and gives you another slime key that you couldn't use for anything, since there's only one slime gate in the game. This version only has 2 areas and they're both a lot smaller. The dry reef is mostly the same, but there is no ring island and this whole area, which makes the dry reef even more linear. The prototype beach is here, but it's completely blocked off. You can still get there pretty easily even without the jetpack, but there is literally nothing there. The moss blanket went through a lot more changes than the dry reef. The textures were completely different, with a lot brighter colors making the area look a lot different. A lot of the sub-areas remain mostly the same, but their placements were different, and a lot of them weren't in the game yet. The entrance is very similar, but the path to the ruins is blocked off, so you can only go one way. That immediately leads to the honey perch instead of the big open forest area. The platform where the honey gordo is normally located is here, but the honey gordo isn't, so it's just empty. Instead of the destroyed bridge to the Mushroom Lake, the old version of the tunnel with feral pink boom slimes is here. But this time there is a roof and some pillars you need to avoid. Then it leads to the honey slime room with pink flowers, that then leads to that one room with bridges and the home portal at the end of it. There is also a work in progress gate next to the portal that was removed later. I couldn't find any information on where it was supposed to lead to. While walking towards the home portal, you might notice something strange. There's a weird island in the middle of the slime sea located between the entrance and the end of the moss blanket. Unless you are a cool speedrunner, this area is only accessible with a decent jetpack. These are the prototype ancient ruins. It's a very small area, but I think it's very interesting. According to the Slime Rancher wiki, during the moss blanket's creation, it was intended to be a regular cell, with a slime gate that existed at the zone's end, originally connecting it with the Indigo Quarry. In 0.2.0, it has been disconnected from the moss blanket and it had its slimes and resources disabled. I will come back to that area later. Also, you can crouch by pressing C for some reason. I don't know why it's here, like, it's not even mentioned in the controls menu. And you can't even see that you're crouching because the camera doesn't even move. It reduces the size of your collision, but you don't know that, so it just makes you slow. The only useful thing about this feature is that you can hold C while jetpacking to glide. Okay, maybe it's not very useful, but it's still pretty cool. I don't know, let's just move on to the first major Slime Rancher update, 0.3.0. It's the, Indigo Quarry update. The Indigo Quarry is now in the game. Most of it is pretty much the same as in the current version, but the Ash Island, the Crystal Volcano, and the room where the slime gate that leads to the ruins is located are not in the game yet. Rat slimes are finally obtainable, as well as a completely new slime, the Lucky Slime. Puddle slimes also got a redesign, and now they work differently. A new backpack upgrade has been added, the water tank. Before 0.2.0, it was possible to get water without any upgrades, but the water took away one slot, and now you can get a fifth separate slot, just for water. Water tank, just like all of the other backpack upgrades, got a new icon. Speaking of new icons, every area now has a little icon. A lot of the plots and their upgrades are no longer placeholder cubes, and the NPCs look different. Some models have also been changed. For example, the Scare Slime actually looks good now, and the Gordos have a different shape that we are familiar with. 4 new Gordos have been added to the game: Honey, Rad, and 2 Rock Gordos. The second hidden Rock Gordo, that normally gives you a portal to the Ash Island, instead drops 3 gold slimes in this version. And overall, the graphics have improved a lot from 0.2.0 to 0.3.0, and the game now looks much closer to what we have now. 5-day rush has also been added to the game. It's basically an old version of rush mode. You basically just need to get the highest possible amount of new bags in 5 days and 3 hours. But the plort values are always the same, so the only slimes worth having are Honey, Boom, Rad, and maybe Puddle slimes. Every day there's a new ranch exchange that gives you only 3 gold plorts in return, and if you die in 5-day rush, you don't lose much time, but instead you lose 10% of your current amount of new bucks. The next update I want to talk about is 0.3.1. The beach area has been reworked, and the beach tabby Gordo is there, but there is no ring island, so it gives you another slime key instead of the ring island portal. Slime gates now look completely different, and there is a new slime gate that separates the beach from the rest of the dry reef, allowing the player to check out the new slime gate animation pretty much immediately. All fruits and veggies now look a lot better, and the cuberry tree is now cube shaped because, science. Overall, I think it's a great update. Or that's what I would say if they didn't remove the crouch button. Like, it didn't make any sense, but I kinda liked it. So yeah, it's easily the worst update, but at least the moss blanket theme finally got a night version. It's pretty good, and I'm actually about to play it right now, because the next update I want to talk about is the Moss Blanket update. 0.3.5 is probably my favorite Slime Rancher update. The Moss Blanket has received a major overhaul, and is now about twice as big, and even to this day, it's my favorite area from Slime Rancher 1. The Hunter Slime has also been added to the game, and even to this day, it's my favorite slime from Slime Rancher 1. Told you this update is great. There are also some new tracks that play in Beatrix's house, that by the way now actually looks a lot more cozy thanks to update 0.3.4, and tar slimes are now a lot easier to kill. Now, remember the prototype ancient ruins? In this update, they were updated along with the rest of the moss blanket, and were placed further away. This is how it looks with enabled slime spawns. After the moss blanket update, we got the Indigo Quarry update. Wait, no. 0.3.0 was the Indigo Quarry update. This is the Crystal Slime update. The Indigo Quarry isn't that much different. It only got one sub-area, the Crystal Volcano. There's also a new island, but funnily enough, it's not even the Crystal Slime one. The Ring Island is now in the game. The Ash Island has been added later in 0.3.7, literally 3 weeks later. Not sure why they decided to add a random island in the Crystal Slime update and the Crystal Slime island literally 3 weeks later. Missed opportunity to add both islands in the same update and call it the island update or something. But it's okay, because less than a month later, we got 0.4.0, the Slime Science update. I don't really have much to talk about here. It's a pretty important update, but all you need to know is that they've added the lab, Slime Science and Trevor pods to the game. By the way, check out these concept art for the lab. I think they're pretty cool. Also, the only remaining sub-areas in the dry reef and the moss blanket have been added to the game, so the only 3 areas that were in the game at the time were now fully complete. But before we got a new area, we got a few more slime science updates. 0.4.1 gave us fashion pods, the taming bell and the refinery link. In 0.4.2, 18 treasure pods that mostly contain slime science resources and more fashion pods. Okay, it's time to talk about 0.5.0. Remember the prototype ancient ruins? They've been reworked into a full area in this update. Sort of. The newer ancient ruins are of course completely different, but their placement and purpose are very similar. They are located between the moss blanket and the indigo quarry and are used to connect these two zones. The boom gordo was always located in the middle of that prototype ancient ruins, but was always disabled. This actually makes a lot of sense because, you know, the boom gordo is exclusive to the moss blanket and the indigo quarry, so it made sense to have a boom gordo in a sub area between these two zones. Now the boom gordo being there doesn't make as much sense. The ancient ruins are a lot more than just a sub area now, and boom slimes can't even spawn there. Actually, other than the dry reef slimes, the only slime that can spawn in the ancient ruins is the new quantum slime. Love that guy. But yeah, if you ignore the work in progress blue barrier at the end of the ruins, this area never went through any significant changes. We've reached a point where it's hard to talk about these updates, but at least I still have some cool ruins related concept art and some other stuff that I want to show you. 0.5.1 is the Better Homes and Gordos update, and many different things have been added. 7Z Rewards Club has finally been added, as well as Chroma Packs, Slime Toys and Gordos Nerfs. A new ranch expansion has also been added, the docks. We also got some lore. You can now find hops and snows, and get mail from Casey sometimes. So yeah, lots of lore in this update. 0.6.0 was the last update before the game got out of early access, and it was the biggest Slime Rancher update. The Glass Desert is finally here, as well as 4 new slimes: Dervish, Mosaic, Tangle and Fire. Funnily enough, the Meteor slime is still mentioned in the Slimepedia. For some reason, the silver parsnip was still listed as Meteor Slime's favorite food. They probably just forgot to change that, but I still find it interesting. Yeah, there really isn't much to talk about here. I mean, the Glass Desert didn't really change much. The 2-door area with the final hubs and nodes is not here, and that's about it. Oh yeah, and we also got some interesting screenshots before this update came out. 1.0.0. The official launch. Yes, the game is officially out now, but this update is actually just lore. The final area in the Glass Desert is finally here, so the game now has an ending. And other than that, Beatrix now has a 3D model, and yeah, that's about it for this update. But now that the game is not in early access anymore, I'm just gonna go over all the interesting scrapped content that I didn't get to talk about. The Hydro Shower! A gadget that slowly kills star slimes in a certain radius when activated manually. It's completely useless and I don't know why they brought it back in Slime Rancher 2. Some gadgets like the Med Station, the unused Hydro Shower, and the Taming Bell were meant to get a tier 2 upgraded version. I think these utilities are completely useless and I don't think these upgrades would really help. This mysterious star slime expression. I don't know what it would have been used for. A feature that lets you suck everything but slimes when enabled. This feature is only present in 0.2.0 and 0.2.2 is the one I've played, so I didn't get to use it. Fashion pots had a front and a top slot at one point. Fun feature, but one slot is enough in my opinion. Pure Cyber Slimes. We didn't get to the Wilds update yet, so let's save that for later. Tier 4 Trevor Cracker. Anti-gravity zones. This prop. And my personal favorite, coral wallpapers. There's only one coral wallpaper present in the files. It's a great feature and I hope they bring it back in Slime Rancher 2. There is also an Iron Rancher mode, which is basically just hard mode. It included changes like a 5% chance for a tar slime spawning at night, slime spawns increased by 30%, slimes getting hungry twice as fast, lords exploding after 30 seconds, and my personal favorite, chickens becoming feral at night. That's the only one I'd like to see because it sounds funny. All the other Iron Rancher features just sound like pain. I'm kind of glad this mode has been removed. If you want a fun challenge, just play Rush mode. And if you want the health bar to actually have a purpose and a chance of actually dying from taking damage in this game, yeah, me too, but I don't know if we'll ever get that. There are also some scrapped slime ideas on this whiteboard, like the Sluggo slime, the Grave slime, and of course the Meteor slime. I hope they bring the Meteor slime back in Slime Rancher 2 at some point. Maybe in the Grey Labyrinth update that's coming out soon. They brought back other features like the Hydro Shower and Pure Saber slimes, so who knows? Maybe they will. That would be awesome. So yeah, we've reached a point where Slime Rancher is a finished product. There were only 2 small areas in the first version of the game, and now we have 5 bigger ones. It used to be a simple slime farming game, and now it's a slightly less simple slime farming game that also has a decent amount of content and a great story. This game also has some pretty good exploration. I feel like the main thing I talked about with these updates is the map. I don't know, there is just something about the far range that I really like. Unfortunately, there was a problem. People kept getting lost. Do you remember your first time getting stuck in the moss blanket? Or your first time getting lost in the ancient ruins? Maybe you don't, but I've seen that happened multiple times. I also kept getting lost my entire first playthrough for some reason. I don't even get why it's so easy to get lost in the ancient ruins. It's the smallest area in the game, and it's not even that confusing after a few visits. I mean, you have the map, so it shouldn't be this easy to get lost. Well, what if I told you that the map wasn't in the game this entire time? Yeah, you really can't blame all the 2016 players for getting lost a lot. 6 days after the game's official launch, we got the navigation update and they've added a map. Finally! I really didn't need all this build up just to say this, that was the worst possible way to do this, why did I even— They've also added slime toys for all the glass desert slimes, and that's about it for this update. There really isn't much to talk about with these post-early access updates. I guess I should just— 1.1.0 Ogden's Wild update. Ogden's Retreat and the Wilds have been added. You can now spend multiple hours grinding Kookadoobas to get surprisingly good garden upgrades. And the 6-plot ranch expansion too? The wilds can get pretty boring after a while, but they're pretty cool at first. It's a great area, and it having feral saber largos everywhere makes for a fun challenge. Not like you'll actually die or anything, but it's still pretty cool. The spicy tofu is useless though. I don't know why it's even in the game. Speaking of things that shouldn't be in the game, casual mode has been added. Yeah, the rancher part of this game's title really doesn't make a lot of sense in casual mode. The ranching system really doesn't make any sense without tar slimes. Also, the ranch exchange has received an overhaul. Everything is a lot more clear now, and now the NPCs have new portraits. Oh, the pure saber slimes. Yeah, let's just save that for later. 1.1.2 Wiggly Wonderland. The first one. There were 15 slime ornaments you could get during this 13-day event. A different one each day. Plus, you could always get the rare lucky gold and tar ornaments if you got lucky. Every crate contained a random ornament on January 1st. 1.2.0 Mochi's Megabucks update. You can now work for Mochi Miles in a new area, the Nimble Valley. It's a very fun minigame with okay rewards. Not as good as Ogden's though. Mochi's Extra Mile is a fun upgrade, and the new ranch expansion is probably my favorite from Slime Rancher 1. The environments here look really nice. It has one of the best tracks in the game too. Getting 200 new bucks each 10 Quicksilver plorts is also great. The new coop upgrade isn't that good though. I mean, no one uses coops in Slime Rancher 1 anyway, and if you do, then why? 1.2.1 Little Big Storage update. The silos are now a lot better. Yep, that's great. I like that update. 1.2.2 Let's get this party started. The party girdle has been added. Nice. 1.3.0 Drones have been added. Yes, that's all this update has to offer, but you know what? I agree. I think that's a good enough update to make that second digit a 3. The drones are so useful. The only problem is that they can only do one task, and you can only have 2 drones in one ranch expansion, but still, they're such a great feature. I'm still waiting for drones in Slime Rancher 2. It's been over 2 years. Help. 1.3.0b Console Editions DLC. Slime Rancher got small free DLCs for the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. 4 months later, they've added another free DLC for Steam, and honestly, it's the best one in my opinion. 1.4.0 Victor's Experimental Update. The last major update for Slime Rancher, but at least it's pretty good. I love this area simply because I know the map so well, to the point where I don't even need to wait for the object to shake. I can easily identify every rock that's not normally there, and I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but at least that gives me a lot of glitch slimes, so I think it's fine. Victor's rewards are also great. The chicken cloner isn't very useful, but at least it's kinda funny. I love gambling with chicken. Then you get the advanced advanced drones, and that is so insanely good. Now the drone limitation shouldn't be a problem anymore, because advanced drones can do 2 different tasks, so you can now have them do 4 tasks in just one ranch expansion. And of course, you can also get Victor's new ranch expansion. Again, great environments. Along with this new update, we also got a new paid DLC, the Secret Style Pack. This DLC just confuses me. The main reason why creating new slime types takes so long is because of all the possible Largo combinations, so why did they take so much time to make like too many for my brain to comprehend of them for this DLC? Oh yeah, the pure cyber slimes? They now exist in Slime Rancher's code for some reason. Then we got the Wiggly Wonderland. The second one, you know, the one with the twinkle slime. The pool party update that's added a silly new octopus slime toy, 2 new fashion pods and an access to the slime scene in Victor's workshop. Wiggly Wonderland, the third one, Wiggly Wonderland, the fourth one, and that's it. Wow, that took a while. I hope I didn't bore you to death. Like I said at the beginning, this was my first time doing a video like this in English, so I hope I did good enough. Wait. What's that? Oh, the Slime Rancher 2 trailer. I remember that moment like it was yesterday. I came back from school and wanted to play some Slime Rancher, because of course I did. So I checked my Steam library only to see this. I watched the trailer and then I spent half an hour analyzing a 1-minute trailer and 5 screenshots.
Slime Rancher 2 jest. Wychodził w 2022 i ja się tak bardzo podjarałem.
Then over a year later, the game came out and I had such a blast playing it. That was actually my first time playing through new Slime Rancher content, because I started playing the first game a few months after Victor's update came out. I love this game and I'm really excited every time it gets new content. Slime Rancher 2, I mean. The first game will never get more content, obviously, so I'm glad I made this video and got an opportunity to explore this game's updates that I didn't get to experience on my own. It was really fascinating to see the game evolve. I'm also just glad this was my first English project. It's easily the most ambitious video I've ever made so far, but it's also a pretty safe one. It was nice to have a script that I just had to read through. Even if it may take some time to get used to, I don't think I'll be doing more content in my native language, so if you're not Polish, then feel free to subscribe if you want to. You can also like follow me on Blue Sky, maybe Twitch too. I am planning on doing some Slime Rancher streams when I feel confident with my English, and also just streams of any indie game that I'm interested in. But yeah, that's it for now. So again, thank you so much for watching and I hope you have a great rest of your day.